I'm back. I am back for week 3. Week 1, hope you caught it. It's all about hunger. Week 2 was all about expectations and celebrations. And so make sure you catch those because this is week 3 of a 4-part series. I love each one, but I really feel like week 1 can really benefit you. So if you had one to choose, go with week 1. Anyways, Brooke Ranvick here. Ranvick, all right? Captions, get it right. Anyways, Truth Telling Time Tuesdays is all about awareness, bringing awareness. And where there's awareness, there is intelligent choice. Okay? And maybe you heard me say this last week. Awareness is God, and God is awareness. I don't know why I looked up, but my higher self, maybe. That's what I learned from Eckhart Tolle back in 2011. So today I want to talk to you about immaturity. And so really recognizing places that I personally needed to work on. Okay? This is what is so fun about finding your way, the way. I created my 1-page playbook with each word for each week that I knew I needed to work on. Immaturity just blew me away because I know that there are places I am extremely immature, but there's also places I think I'm immature, but I am wise beyond this dimension, so it looks like I'm immature, especially to people that are like 7-figure earners. Wow, cool. All right, 8-figure earners, 9-figure earners. I know more than you, which you're going to learn about business and immaturity today. Okay, so we have the shadow of immaturity. The opposite is super abundance. Now this kind of just threw me for a loop. So for me to work on my immaturity, I'm supposed to create super abundance. I would have just thought that I would be a better person. I don't know. Mostly for the people around me. But what I found was just something so beautiful and something I can completely honor in myself. And with this knowing, with this revelation, I am able to now step into behaving more in the gift, which the gift is expansion. And this one needs to be explained a little bit more in the sense of what occurred for me and how I moved through it. Okay, so first I'm going to give you my notes and then we're going to get into this. Okay, so immaturity. Immaturity is really nothing more than the human tendency to keep loading bent arrows into the bow. Because no matter how well-meaning your actions are at a low frequency, it can actually lead to more disharmony. And so, and just like in human business. Now, this has been a big part of my life since 2012 is business and being around the business mentality, the entrepreneurs and the building businesses and network marketing and 10 times bullshit. And so this in business, in the shadow frequency, growth is praised above all else. Damn, man, I'm telling you, the first company that I really got sucked into. Now, I will always be proud and honor my journey no matter what, okay? And even though you can be a victim, you can be the victor, okay? Versus staying in victim frequency. And so the first company that I was with, the biggest thing that just drove me to say yes was go to work on yourself more than anything else. Self-growth, personal growth. Okay, that's praised above all else. Even though too much growth is unsustainable and actually damaging to the environment, especially to a projector, okay? And nobody gets a projector. Nobody understands projectors. I'm sorry that you don't, and that's sad. But if you're a projector, just know nobody gets you, and that's okay. Find ways to be okay being you. So when nature is left to her own devices, she flourishes, all at the same time, never losing touch with the overall picture. So immaturity in the human is immaturity is rooted in the human tendency to see ourselves as separate from nature. In a human being, the expansion of frequency can only occur in one way: through love. All right, let's get into this. So, a little bit more about the depths of what someone would be doing if they were acting in this shadow frequency. So some of the behaviors can look like starting something new, starting something fresh over and over again, like, all right, let's start something new, cool, awesome. And what is actually the driver, the number one driver to behave in this way is, yes, to think you're separate, but the fear of death. And not the fear of death like you would think, but you're constantly behaving in fear. And so this was my personal revelation. So this was something that I was diligently working on. It has to do with my birthright to love and be loved. And I have a habit of starting over. It can be a good thing, or it could be a low frequency thing. It could be an expansion thing, or it can be defense mechanism, okay, protection. And so protection always is based on fear. And it's not like, oh, I'm so scared. Oh my God, I'm worried about what people are going to think about me. It's not, it stems from this fear of death. So it's deeply rooted into the subconscious, because no, that doesn't make sense. So why she keeps starting things over and over again? Because she's afraid of death. Well, how you move past that is through creating commitment. Commit. And I was like, holy shit. I am one of the most committed people I know. I mean, it has been my power statement for the last 3 3 years. I'm charismatic, I'm creative, and I am committed. And what my commitment looked like, it was so packaged up, so pretty, with beautiful intention based on fear. So like it shows here, it doesn't matter what the intention is. The slight frequency of fear is that bend in that arrow. And I was like, oh my God, I am one of the most committed people I know, out of fear. And mostly mine comes down to rejection. And from there, I was like, okay, next month we are setting rejection goals. We are setting goals of being rejected. I don't have them yet. Not specific, but I'm like, okay, I've already been rejected 2 times. Yes! Before I'd be like, oh my God, I'm gonna pretend like that didn't happen. And instead of actually pretending like it didn't happen, I would behave then in fear that I would once again be rejected. And we're gonna talk about this next week with the word dishonor, because it goes into a little bit more detail about why we have this fear of rejection. And so I was like, all I get to do is switch my attitude. I don't have to be any different. I just get to now behave in a different frequency, an expansion frequency. And this is one thing that happens with the compound effect. This is one thing that happens with words. Now here I am working in expansion with this celebration with no expectations, and I'm detached from rejection. I'm detached from it. And we learned that last week. And so this is why you would want to, come roll with me in my daily workouts. Either you want the message. Some of the messages last week were like 20 minutes long, and then the workouts are 20 minutes. So you can do both. You can do one. You can do the other. It doesn't matter. But I do create that as an option because I'm driven to. I have a magnet to do that. And so stepping into, oh my God, I am going to expand like a mofo. I'm going to quantum leap through this BS rejection into super abundance. But what is it going to take? Shifting and changing my attitude. That's it. And it doesn't always look this simple, okay? But this is where the slight little tweaks occur when it comes to the laws of energy. So because of the frequency that I was giving off was, oh, I'm gonna create this program because of this. Oh, I'm gonna hire that coach. I'm going to that because FOMO, fear of missing out. I behaved in so many ways that looked pretty, and it was a repetitive cycle of starting over. And I'm like, why do I do this? Why do I get into something? And this is part of being a projector as well. So knowing your human design, if you are a projector, this is going to be your lifeline for not getting down on yourself about the choices you make. So what I had to do is recognize the places I made choices out of immaturity. They look like beautiful choices. They looked like expansive choices, but the fear was in the fear of missing out. The fear was in not being something. The fear was in business and growth. And this is from last week. If you heard me say, there are places that I'm wise now, that I'm on a different plane, that people would see me as actually being immature. So I had to freaking pick up the pieces. I had to go back to places where I behaved in fear, and that I was thinking that they were good choices, and they weren't good choices, and they were things I had to do, things that made me extremely uncomfortable. I had to cancel things. I had to step into what other people would think as failure. I had to step into what other people would see as immature. I had to step into places where someone said, I don't like your energy, and I don't get what's wrong with you. And those two things, because of this word, made me know I was on the right path. And that person also said they were defensive because I unfortunately made a choice out of immaturity, and to this person I was making a choice out of immaturity to back out of my other choice, to pick up my pieces. Well, I run a 7-figure business. This is the way it's run. Okay. It's not sustainable. I don't see anyone else sustaining what you're sustaining. I don't see anyone else achieving what you are achieving. And that's where my heart goes to, helping women find their way. Their way. And now, as I get to help women find their way, their beauty from within, I have this next level belief, this next level full on shift in my DNA, because I did the hard things, and the hard things were not the hard things that these other people were telling me to do. They were actually the opposite. And because of another gene key that I worked on, I know there is no other way that can be found out there for me to do something, for me to deliver the goods to this earth. It can only be found within here. And that's my position as well. And I get to help somebody else. Now that I'm on the other side, like, I am telling you, I was bawling and bawling and bawling, and I never thought that I was going to make it through. I was like, oh my God, Green Tara, Mother Mary, like, they weren't even doing anything for me. And yet I know they were, but it was also stuff that I had to do on this gross physical plane to shift and change my personal DNA. And so that just opened a whole different world to me, as well as knowing there might be places that I need to pick up the pieces, and knowing that I made decisions out of fear, and knowing that they might look different to others in this realm, when I now know that they got a bent arrow. That bent arrow was from my heart. That bent arrow was out of love. But that bend in the arrow was out of fear of not being loved, fear of rejection, fear of someone not liking me. And that's pretty immature. But how do you know how to shift that? And yes, through commitment. But number one is through awareness. And now I know my intentions that are packed up all nice and pretty are actually created out of fear. Little bit of fear. Not the fear you would think. It's just disguised. It was disguised. And now I'm aware of it. And where you're aware, there is intelligent choice. Now I'm connected to my God source. I'm not connected to my reptilian brain, my fear source. I'm connected to my God source. And that is going to look so different. That's going to put me out of place. That is going to be life-threatening to my love, safety, and belonging, especially for the things I've created based out of fear for other people. And I now have the genetic makeup, the DNA to be able to handle all of that. I also have Suckment and the Syrian lions, working on my Divine Masculine this week or this next month, as well as Suckment, working on my nervous system to move through this stuff and not cave to my inner child and not cave to the low vibe divine feminine as well, or whatever, feminine consciousness. Because of them, because of these tools, I am now able to set a goal to get rejected. And now here was my instant thinking, because when it comes to the law of attraction, right? Well, if I'm focusing on being rejected, then that's all I'm going to do is get rejected. Well, actually what I'm focusing on is the superabundance of moving beyond the fear of rejection, growing through, shifting and changing on a DNA level to one of I survive. And actually what's on the opposite of the fear of rejection is superabundance. And that's not going to look pretty, but I got Suckment. She's going to help me with my nervous system. Okay? If you want to know that story, I don't know, go to my Quantum Adventures on YouTube, or let me know, hey Brooke, what's this Suckment story? How she helping you with your nervous system? She is. Okay. All right. See you next week, where we're going to talk about dishonor. And dishonor is about how this works with the great change when it comes to evolving the solar plexus through expanding the heart, which is gene key number 22, which we will talk about next week. Bye.